All right, speaking of controversy, the Opposition Education Minister, Julian Leeser, has told university leaders that they need to scrap group assignments. Now, you'll be familiar with group assignments. Most of the assessment you do at university is individual assignments, exams, but every now and again they throw you an assignment that you have to gather together with 2 or 3 other classmates and do it together. Julian Leeser says this is typically unfair because while it may encourage some collaboration, invariably one person gets stuck with doing most of the work. I've seen surveys in Australia and overseas where there are mixed results about how students feel regarding these sorts of assignments, but typically they find 50% of students really like group assignments, and I reckon they're the 50% who probably aren't that good at university, and so they think, if only I could be teamed with Freya and Caleb, we'd get Caleb to do most of the work because we know he's the smartest one on the late debate and we'll get good marks.
And this is exactly why they need to get rid of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a stupid system and it's so unfair to particularly English-speaking students because one of the big problems that students face now is with all of these foreign students who come in and pay full tote odds, the full tariff, which is great for the universities, they love it, but many of them don't have perfect English. And so when it comes to the nitty-gritty of getting these things done, you've got a student who's a native English speaker, that's your ticket to ride, that's what you need.
Yep.
So it's not really fair on anyone to say, well, that's the way in which it works. Surely you're at university to prove your own mettle. You should be anyway. And so there's no real need to have a group project.
Yeah, well, and certainly not one that's weighted so heavily. In most of the courses I did at Sydney Uni, the group assignments could count for as much as 20 or 30% of your mark in an entire course.
Do you choose who you do the assignment with, or are you told who you'll do it with?
So in most classes, at least at Sydney University, you don't choose. And I actually have a theory that I can't prove this, but the tutors intentionally disperse the Australian students with English-sounding names among the international students. So there's one kid who can speak English in each group, and then that person ends up carrying the load. It happened to me. I was in a group assignment, and my peers, the 3 people I was with, literally could not communicate with me. They ended up talking with each other in Mandarin, and then they also wanted to meet at like 1 a.m. in the morning to do the assignment. It was just it was a joke, to be perfectly honest. But then I had another course where we did get to pick the groups, and immediately the domestic students ran to one side of the room and all formed groups with each other, and then the international students sort of had to deal with it. But it is deeply, deeply unfair. You should be assessed on your individual skills, and there are plenty of ways to show you can communicate with people, and for employers to assess that, you don't need to do group assignments.
So universities are making quite a few changes at the moment, predominantly because of AI. So they're insisting now that students come into the campus to do assignments, exams, to prevent cheating with AI. With all of those changes, do you think they would take Julian Leeser up on this one, or would they say, you know what, let's just leave this, it's going to create too much controversy?
I mean, why shouldn't they? Really, why should they not? Well, yes, I know what you're going to say.
Because it's more work for them.
Yeah,
they have to mark 4 assignments versus
Great
1.
point.
And it also jeopardises the international students too, doesn't it?
Who there are academics who will tell you they've had pressure put on them by universities to give international students the pass mark. Just give everyone at least 50% so they pass the courses, so they keep paying the fees. The standards at our universities have dropped so much because they are so hungry for these international fees.
Out of interest, what did you get for your group assignment?
For the one where I was with the international students, I think I got a distinction or something. But the one where I was with domestic students who were all very switched on, I think I got a high distinction, not to brag.
You actually told me to ask you that question before the show.
Me,
so
James.
there you go. I saw your eyes light up, Freya.
I think that's what we call a humble brag.